Welcome back, guys. So not too long ago, we did a video concerning the Analogue NT Mini Noir, the $500 NES clone system. And that video and some of the things I said on social media got some people triggered. Got some people all crazy, calling me names, getting all pissed off. It was nuts. I don't really get it. But hey, when I purchase a product, I'm going to point out some things that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to dig into this a little bit more because the controversy has to do with the floppy slot syndrome. And I know I got so many comments from people, heard a der, like, don't touch the cartridge when you're playing it. Oh my God, no shit, dude. Like, obviously. Now, Analogue's response to this slot, which they said was newly designed and perfected for this system, which I'm calling shenanigans on because people said the previous Analogue system, it was the same exact thing. But the issue here is this floppy slot, you know, the slot flopping around. And they stated that they made the slot this way to accommodate the thousands of homebrew, unlicensed, original cartridges that are out there so that they could fit in this thing. I think that's BS because what NES cartridge, be it homebrew, unlicensed, your mom made it in the kitchen, I don't freaking know. What NES cartridge was made to not fit an original NES to where you would have to change the slot? Makes no sense. So, okay, yeah, the slot's a little floppy. People had mentioned that the previous systems, not just the previous NT Mini, but the Mega SG and the Super NT, that it had a floppy slot. And I'd already stated, like, a little flop, just a little movement is fine. You don't want it to be like stuck in there because of the cartridge flaps. But this is fairly standard. And then the thing with the Super NT is it's a little more floppy, and there's a reason for that. And you see that it kind of moves a little bit when you put a Super Nintendo cartridge into an original Super Nintendo. It's a little bit of movement, just a little bit. Not quite as much as this, but you'll notice one thing here is that the cartridge slot for both of these systems is about the same, like as far as how wide they are, right? It's the depth that causes an issue between these two systems. Not really an issue. I've never had a problem with this with floppy cart syndrome, right? Floppy slot syndrome. The thing is, the Super Nintendo, it goes deeper, a lot deeper than it goes in here. So there's more wiggle room here as far as these cartridges go, but these cartridges are fairly low profile. Same thing with Sega Genesis. So it's not as pronounced, but at the same time, the slot's the same dimension-wise as an original Super Nintendo. It's just because it's more shallow that you get a little bit more play, because on the Super Nintendo, it's holding it up here a little bit more. So the play is going to be a little smaller, right? So not a huge issue with that system. Now, taking a look at an original, I mean, this is an original top loader, but it has been modified. It does have HDMI, but there's nothing different with the cartridge slot. Look at your wiggle room there. There's not much, if any at all. On this, it's like back and forth, back and forth. And when you pop in a cartridge, here's the issue with the NT Mini Noir. It doesn't sit straight up. It's either going to lean forward or lean back. You know, it's just there, right? Yeah, I'm not going to touch the damn thing when I'm playing it. Leave me alone. Jeez. But the thing between these two systems is the cartridge is braced quite a bit higher up. So when you look at this, it's the same thing with the Super Nintendo. It's a lot deeper, so it braces it a little higher, but that's fine with this. This, they couldn't do that with. They couldn't put this bubble on here for a couple reasons, but also when you take a look at the slot is quite a bit bigger than, you know, on the NT Mini than it is on the original top loader. So that's part of the issue. If it was a little bit like smaller, cartridges would still move around a bit more than they do on a Nintendo, but I don't think it would be as big of an issue. Problem is, people like, okay, if you have this on a table or on a desk, I always play this on a desk. If I accidentally like bump the table, like just barely, it wobbles around and you can have the game get corrupt. So the reason they didn't bubble this up, the reason this is not bubbled up is because in order to use like things like the Famicom RAM adapter, if you have this plugged in, it blocks that front slot. If this was bubbled up, you most likely wouldn't be able to use this without some kind of crazy adapter or something. So that's one reason they went with this design, and I understand it, but I mean, they still could have tweaked this slightly, I think. So what I want to do is plug in the NT Mini Noir. People have told me that they've had issues losing their save files and whatnot, just barely. I keep getting like, I think I scratch it, but it's just like dust or something on there. Like, this is a $500 system, dude. Like, here's the thing. Like, don't get it twisted. I actually really do like this thing. I mean, I'm not going to resell it. I'm not going to get rid of it. I really do like it, but that slot is just, I feel like they could have fine-tuned that a little bit. And my thing is, I hope when they eventually do release a cheaper plastic form of this, that they reconsider the way the slots are made, just in case, you know what I mean? So the one thing I wanted to point out was this has been plugged into power this whole time. The first player adapter, this 8-bit adapter, it does not stop blinking. I wish you could turn that off. It's always receiving power, and from what I found out, which from what I've been told was the same thing with the previous version, they just took that away from all the newer stuff, is that the first player port always gets power, so you could turn the system on with the controller. Awesome feature, dude. I just wish you could turn it off within the system so that thing doesn't, keep blinking. Somebody said, oh, it stops blinking after a while. No, it doesn't, dude. I left this thing on for like a day and a half without turning it back on. That thing stayed blinking the whole time, dude. Like, it's kind of annoying. Imagine having this in your entertainment center and it's all dark and you got that one little blue light blinking in your freaking eyeball. So we turn it on. Oh, we got to turn the controller on. Turn the system on with select an A. Light went on. Hopefully the monitor comes on. Let's test this out. Let's see if bumping the table. Oh, well, the cartridge isn't looking too sexy right now. Make sure your cartridges are clean. This is actually a clean cartridge, so pins are clean. I cleaned this recently. I think with Dragon Warrior, the first Dragon Warrior, the pins are up higher, so sometimes this specific cartridge has issues running on some systems because the connection's not that great. That could be one reason people have had issues with this specific cart, maybe, but okay, we're good. The game is on. Is there a save file on here? Continue a quest. Yes, there is. I don't know who Alex and Juan is, but you know what? We may be fucking up your save file here. So let's bump the table. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Let's slightly touch the cartridge. Oh, the hell! A dragon popped out. Said, "What are you doing touching the cartridge, bitch?" Dude, that's a dope glitch. I got that dragon popped out just nonstop. You're not gonna touch that, right? All right, let me move this to like level ground. We just bumped it, so it got fucked up again. Okay, there we go. Let's get back into it. Okay, didn't corrupt the save file or anything, so that's good. Let's bump the table. Nothing. Okay, well, I mean, a little force there. A little force actually got it to reset. But, I mean, I'm like getting my mic in the way. I mean, it's going to take a bit. Like, yeah, we touch it, it's gonna tweak out. So it's sensitive, but it's not crazy sensitive. So one thing I want to point out. Let's go ahead and turn this off and then plug it into this system and see if touching it does anything weird. You know what I'm saying? Get your bitch ass in there. There we go. Okay, high def NES. I mean, you're gonna have very similar options to this. With this, let's see, is there our save files are still there? Let's see, touching the cartridge. Yeah, don't touch the fucking cartridge. That's it. Just don't touch the cartridge. So everybody who was like, don't touch the cartridge when you're playing. No shit. We don't want to touch the cartridge, but definitely between this unscientific test here, between these two, yeah, this is more sensitive because the way it was designed. If it was a little smaller of a gap, would it stop that from happening? Maybe, maybe not. But I do feel one thing to where nobody could be nitpicking or anything and just having a better understanding as if this was closed up just slightly, because there's no reason for the slot to be bigger to accommodate cartridges that don't exist. We're not trying to put Neo Geo in here. So that's one thing I don't understand with their explanation with that. But I still think this is a damn fine system. The issue with the slot is just it's a little wider than it should be, and it's shallow. You can't really do too much with that. The only way they could have changed that was by raising the top shell up, having this to be a taller system to have more space to where it's not that shallow. So yeah, I mean, that's the only real thing that I could see here. Are we glitching the game out by bumping the table? It could happen. If your cat runs by and farts on the cartridge, maybe. I mean, if you're touching it, of course, just don't touch the cartridge. I'm still enjoying this thing immensely, so don't get that twisted. I just wanted to showcase that this is really, I mean, I don't know. Like, take it for what it's worth, right? I do wish this was a little refined, but I kind of understand some of the decisions here. Just for a $500 system, when you got that cartridge, you know, you can lean it back or you can lean it forward. I mean, I don't really like that. So, hey guys, appreciate it. And I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom.